So I've got the final 4 postcards here. Let's drop them and then pick 2 to decide where we go tomorrow. Take a detour from the train route and visit somewhere unique. So that's going to be interesting. But that unique place will be determined by where we end up. So the other card that fell was spend a night in Switzerland's oldest town. So I better quickly find out what Switzerland's oldest town is, see how we get there, and then find somewhere unique along the way to visit. If you don't know why I'm throwing postcards around and letting them decide where I go, let Joe of a couple of days ago tell you. And you should really watch the first video and see how I ended up in Zermatt in the first place.
Somebody just take
overhead lockers in case anything has moved during take. Thank you, bye.
Right, so time to explain what's going on. So I'm in Switzerland, in Basel for today, because I've decided I want to experience some of the best train journeys in the world. But I don't want to pay the costs associated with things like the Great Glacier Express and the Matterhorn train and the expensive trains that Switzerland is famous for. So I've got an Interrail pass, a 3-day pass to use any regional train in Switzerland. And I'm going to put it to the test. Can I see the same sights as on the main routes, on the expensive routes, by using regional trains only? But that's too easy. So what I've got here is I've got a map of the Swiss rail network, and each night I'm going to select one of 5 postcards from Switzerland with a challenge on it, and that challenge will decide where I go the following day. The postcards are: survive on just £100 in Switzerland's most expensive mountain resort, spend a night in Switzerland's oldest town, take a detour from the train route and visit somewhere unique, visit another country with your Interrail pass, and spend a night in a capsule hotel for under £60. And in Switzerland that's going to be a difficult challenge. Just what I needed to wake me up. A strong espresso. So I'm at the train station here in Zermatt. I did some research last night, and the oldest city in Switzerland, it turns out, is called Chur, and that's in eastern Switzerland. We are currently in the south, so we're going to have to go to centre of Switzerland. The only way out of Zermatt is back up to Visp, so we're going to take the Matterhorn something, the train we took yesterday from Visp. We're going back on that train for about an hour and a half to Visp. Then we need to go back to Andermatt again. But we also had a second postcard, visit somewhere unique along the way, and I found something called Decentis Abbey, one of the oldest medieval abbeys in the whole of Switzerland, and it's on the way between Andermatt and Chur. So I'm not really going to film much of the journey back up to Visp and Andermatt. I'll just do snippets if anything stands out, because it's a different time of day. We're travelling now early morning, and I'll pick up again probably when we get to Decentis and then the Abbey. The train is a lot busier leaving. It wasn't this busy coming here. So I found one carriage right at the very front of the train that is empty. But if we walk to the other carriage, you'll see what I mean about higher windows. So that carriage should be on the Glacier Express train. I don't think we're on that train. It says we're on a regional train due to leave at 9:37. That's what it says on my ticket. So I think I'm on the right train. If not, I'm going to have to pay a premium to travel on this train, but I think I'm okay. This is slightly different layout to the one I came on yesterday, but yeah, it should be a good journey. Just gonna find a seat.
Randa. Next stop, Randa.
So on the train now to Andermatt. I don't think this one has windows that pull down. Yesterday's one did. That was from Andermatt to Visp. On the train here, somebody was talking to me. It sounded a bit German, but I speak some German. I did not understand a word of it. So they then reverted to English. It was like a mix of German, French and Italian all in one. But we're on this train for about 2 hours now. Then we'll get to Andermatt. We've got an 8-minute connection, and then the train to Decentis Munster for the Abbey, and the Abbey is about a 10-minute walk from the station apparently. So here for 2 hours. So you see these in a lot of the small train stations in Switzerland, the Postcards. These connect the trains to the smaller settlements across the rural parts of Switzerland and Liechtenstein. So we are now in the Furka tunnel, which is the longest tunnel on the route between Visp and Andermatt, and it is 15.4 kilometers in length, and it goes underneath the mountains. The whole just goes dark when we're in this tunnel. You can also smell There's a smell in the air as well, like a musty smell when you go through this tunnel.
Hospental, Halt auf Verlangen. Hospental, stop on request.
So back in Andermatt. If you haven't seen my quick tour of Andermatt, watch the previous video. We now have 7 minutes to get to another platform for the train to Disentis. So this train goes on the Oberalp Pass, over a pass in the mountains. I'm not sure which side to sit on. Hopefully it doesn't get too busy. The carriage is pretty much empty. This may just be the best journey so far, and that's saying something. You've seen some of the places we've been and seen. Well, let's settle in for about an hour and 15 minutes to Disentis Muster and see what it's like. So we're now heading up to the Oberalp Pass, the highest part of Switzerland you can get to by train. All thanks to the Interrail pass, and it doesn't cost any extra. And that down there is Andermatt, where we've just come from. So I can't work out where to sit on this train. Both sides have got equally stunning views. So the one we just passed was the Glacier Express. Did you notice any difference between that train and this one? And they've paid hundreds of pounds more than I have. And they're restricted to travelling on a certain time as well. With my Interrail pass, I could travel on any of these routes whenever I wanted to. I could get off if I want to and get back on a later one. They can't do that. We are now coming up to the highest point on the Swiss railway network. There's still snow and it's springtime here, and that lake is still frozen over. Wow, just look at that.
Nächster Halt, Oberalp Pass. Proxima Fermata, Alp Zoom. Next stop, Oberalp Pass.
So we're now getting down into the valleys below the mountains. It's late spring, so glacial meltwater is now flooding down in streams from the tops of the mountains as the snow melts, and the flowers and trees are all coming back to life after the cold winter here in the high Alps of Switzerland.
Rueras, Halt auf Verlangen. Rueras, Fermata Sinda Ronda. Rueras, stop on request.
One thing I have noticed as we're passing through the different cantons of Switzerland is that the announcements are made in different languages in each canton. So the one we're in now is the canton of Valais or Valais. The announcements are made in German, Italian or Romansh. It's an Italian type language, and English. Previously they were in German, French and English. Somewhere else they were just in German and English. So I think that shows you how diverse the culture and languages of Switzerland are, and I hadn't appreciated that before coming here. So we have just arrived into what is pronounced as Decentis Muster, not Decentis Muster, and we are going to try and complete the first of the 2 postcards for today, being Visit Somewhere Unique. I think Benedictine Abbey in the middle of the Swiss countryside is unique, and I have put down a few notes of this place just so I can give you the context on why it's unique. So, its official title is the Imperial Abbey of Decentis. The abbey was established in 790 AD. It joined the Swiss Confederation in 1617. It was burned and plundered by French troops in 1799. It was placed under state control by the canton or the town of Grisons in 1846 and restored to an abbey in 1880, and it has one of the biggest communities of Benedictine Catholic monks in Switzerland. It's a shame they built it high up on a hill. So we should have about 2 hours-ish before we need to get the train to the oldest city in Switzerland for tonight. So let's go and see if we can explore the abbey. Maybe this ramp is the way in. So we'll spend a bit of time looking in the abbey, and then we'll have a quick explore of the town of Decentis before getting the train to Chur. So there's a lot of walking routes around here into the nearby towns and villages. Some of them have literally got 1 or 2 houses, like Sant Gagarda and Fontanivas. How do we get into this place? It's not that way. So there's a cafe here. So I'm in. It kind of feels like I shouldn't be in here. This is an active monastery, and I've just walked into a monk. But, yeah, this is... It feels like I shouldn't be here. There's just nobody around. I'm not sure if I'm meant to be here. What does that mean? That was a surreal experience. There was just one woman sat in there. It feels like I shouldn't be in here, but I'm sure it's open to the public. The monk didn't stop me. Or maybe he's taking a vow of silence, I don't know. But this is... I mean, it's an impressive building. Not what I was expecting to find in Switzerland. Oh, look at this place. It's just so quiet. Paintings on the ceiling. And this is the altar. It's closed off, but I'm not surprised with the amount of gold in here. Danke. So that was the Abbey of Disentis. I mean, it is impressive. I just don't know I don't know where you can go and whether I should have been in there or... No, I don't know. But I'm glad I came. I think it definitely ticks the unique experience that we needed to do for the postcard. And I'm hearing in the background the faint ringing of a bell. Now, Switzerland's stereotype is cows with bells around their necks. I always thought that was a lie, but I want to find a cow with a bell around its neck. There's also a church down here that has a strange dome on top, and I don't think a Lutheran church would have a dome like that. I'm not quite sure, but I'm going to go and investigate. So I think that is the picture of Switzerland there in one shot. You've got the snow-capped mountains, the forests, typical medieval style houses, a little town church, and narrow winding roads. So let's go down into the town and have an explore. So this is an active town. I was expecting a monastery town to be quite quiet, but there's lots of young families, library, school, a couple of supermarkets, restaurants, hotels. I don't know what this thing is. It's called a carillon. Playing the bells. Behind me, that you might just be able to see, there are some people dressed in traditional Swiss outfits. I don't know if that's how they dress normally around here or there's a special occasion. So I think I've done everything here in Disentis Muster. I can't figure out anything else to do. So I'm going to get the train earlier than planned to Chur. And I can do that because I have the Interrail pass. I can use it on any regional train with no restrictions. So like now, I can just change my plan. So this is due to depart in about 15 minutes. The Ratische Bahn to Chur, and just let me check it's the right one. 1544 RE7, so it's a regional train, so I can just take this train. Again, thanks to my Interrail pass, I can get on any train I want to and go anywhere I want to. So a slightly different layout again. Is that still second class? So it should take about just about an hour and a half, just under 2 hours to get to Chur. Yeah, let's do this. So this is another named train that I can take with my Interrail pass. This is the Russian Railway that goes from Disentis, so it starts here and ends in Scroll Tarasp and Tirano and Samoritz and Chur and Arosa. So we'll do this now. So on this train we'll be passing through some very Swiss sounding towns and villages like Sumvit Kumpadales, Rabia Serine, Tavernasa Braille, Brigels, Valtensburg, Kastrisk, Valendas Sagogun, Vasam Safian and Reichenau Tamins. So I look forward to visiting those randomly named Swiss towns and villages on this journey to church. We're now in Chur, but apparently it's pronounced Kur. It looks like just a normal city. It's supposed to be the most historic city in Switzerland, but most of the buildings just seem quite brand new. I also have no phone signal. My eSIM won't connect here. It's been fine even in the mountains, but here it's just not connecting. But we'll have a quick walk around the city, see if we can see the historic bit. Then we need to get to the hotel, because the challenge was to spend the night in the most historic city in Switzerland. And to do that, I found the cheapest 3-star hotel I can find. I'll show you around the room when we get there, and then I'll spend the night here. So I'm in my hotel called the Hotel Sur Selva, just outside of the historic bit of Kur. Interesting check-in. The woman didn't speak a word of English. I tried to speak some German and she didn't understand that either. It's above a pub and it stinks of bleach. I don't particularly want to stay here. It's quite a small room. And then there's a cupboard that they've turned into a bathroom. And that's about it. And the view of some apartment blocks. So I'm here overnight. I mean, if I stay here, I'm still staying in the oldest city in Switzerland. My room is on like a mezzanine level. It's like this used to be the closet where they'd keep the hoovers, and they've stuck a room in here. I've also never seen this for locking the door before. No, that can't be right. Yeah, I don't know how that works. Well, yeah, I better stay here. We've got an early start tomorrow anyway, and it's about 10-15 minute walk from the train station where we need to be for wherever we end up going. But the last thing we need to do is reveal the final 2 postcards. They will decide. So we need to end in Zurich tomorrow night because I've got an early flight from Zurich on Monday morning. Let me get the cards out and then we can figure out what that means. So the final 2 cards are: visit another country with your Interrail pass, and spend a night in a capsule hotel for under £60. They might be back to front. But yeah, basically, so I'm thinking another country near to Kur would probably be